Now that you have your own clay, you're going to want to make sure you have some tools. Now in the first video of this series, we actually went and got our own clay. Now I know you can buy a beginner toolkit on Amazon for less than $10, but for this series, it's all about trying to save you some money. So we're going to be making our own tools, or just using tools that you probably already have in your own home. And what I mean by that is just non-conventional ceramic tools that can be used for ceramics.
It's not just a boulder. It's a rock. A rock. A rock.
To this day, I still use non-conventional ceramic tools on a daily basis when I make my ceramics. And I know so many artists whose favorite tool is actually something that you can't buy at a ceramic store. To showing you some of the tools. This is everything that you'll get in your beginner toolkit. This is what I got in my beginner toolkit. This is still my original sponge. So if you do decide to buy the kit, it's going to last a really long time. Again, I bought mine like 2 years ago. Let's start with this tool right here. This is going to be your needle tool. It is pointy. It works great. There's a wide range of different things you can do with this, whether it's on the wheel or hand building. But an idea of what you can probably use is maybe a barbecue skewer. Since it's a little long, you'll be able to get like a nice grip. It's a little more sturdy, has a little more structure. There is bend and flexibility to this, which isn't, this is metal, so it's not really bendable. This is probably the best I can find. I guess another option that I saw in some other creator videos is like chopsticks. Let's see how sharp we can get this. Because pencil is wood and so is chopstick, right? So it's not going to mess up your pencil sharpener in any way. All right, so we got a really fine point there. Pretty, oh, yes, it is very sharp. So that actually might work pretty well. These are going to be two great options in substitute for a needle pointer. Could use something, you could go even smaller and use a toothpick, but I don't think that a toothpick is going to really substitute for the needle tool, just because of how metal it is and how strong it can be. So I wanted a little something more. So that's an option. Okay, I think a great option is going to be your chopstick. This has a point on it. This also has a point on it. When I broke it apart, you can tell that this has an angle, which is going to be similar to this angle. Chopsticks are going to be super versatile for anything. You can even like cut more into the other piece like this one, and so that way you have more of an angle. Again, it's going to help out, but I think there's just other tools if you're doing hand building. This is going to be really good because it has that angle too. And some of the butter knives too do have a fine point. You can also sand this down too to make a little fine point. And then the edge here on this side is going to be, it's not similar to this, which has a little lip, but it will also do the job for what you're doing with this side. So another great substitute is going to be a butter knife, and also still the chopstick. It's still a great substitute for all these. Okay, you can tell it's the original because it's been well loved. It's been through so many pieces and it's helped me a lot. So it's very uneven. This is probably the one that you're going to replace the most anyways. So these substitutes are going to come in handy even if you're intermediate ceramic person. A ceramic artist. So just a good replacement in general is just getting wire. Any wire is going to work. A thing to keep in mind though is that wire cutters is you do want it very thin because this is kind of thick. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but this is pretty thick. And this wire is actually even thicker than my wire cutter. I want a wire cutter that's going to be very thin, but a good replacement would probably just be string. This is like embroidery string, so it has multiple strings attached, and I wanted something that's going to be has a little more strength. So this will be able to, if you're doing the wheel, you'll be able to cut it off but also other things like getting your clay off of the block of clay. That's what this can be used for. And also be careful, because when you do get the wire tool, this is one thing that I really didn't like, is like I don't ever hold things. It's really long, so I would always wrap my fingers around and like pull, and that could get like really like hazardous if you would do that. So these substitutes could be more accessible for you, as like if you don't want to like have something cut you or anything, because you can wrap your yarn or your string around you and that's not going to cut you. Another great substitute is going to be floss, dental floss. If you have this lying around your house, you know, floss is going to be a great tool, because you can also wrap that around you and get it pretty well. And you can just like, you know, take it off. It also smells very minty, you know, minty fresh. So these are going to be great substitutes. Some string, dental floss, even if you have, again, some wire laying around your house. Another option that I don't have here is a fishing line. Fishing line is going to be great as a replacement. It's, again, that could be kind of risky because it could cut yourself too, but just, you know, be safe out there with these replacements. But this is going to be a great alternative for your wire cutter tool. You can even like take the wire that you found and just stick it on old dowels that you have lying around, and then you can have these extra little handles. Easier substitute is going to be your sponge. Everyone has sponges around their house. When I first started out, I wanted different sponges. I still use this one. It still comes in handy, but I wanted different sizes, so you can like cut your own, which I have, and I can get like really fine corners to get into edges and things like that. So don't be afraid to do that. Another great sponge is your beauty blender. It's so soft and smooth, and you can also still cut it into different like sizes that you want, but this is going to give you some nice smoothing for your ceramic piece, and that's going to go a long way. Beauty blenders are great. Again, if you use the beauty blender or if you use any of the household items, I would mainly use them just for ceramics. Like, don't use them and then clean it and then go and eat off of it. I would just leave it as your ceramic item. So just keep that in mind if you're going to use any of these products. Okay, the loop tools are probably also a little more difficult to kind of find substitutes with. I ended up deciding on a spoon. Again, I also got this at like a takeout place. This is going to be able to kind of replicate the same idea. So you would just scoop out your ceramics with these and kind of carve away. And you can do that as well. You can also carve with this end too, because it has like a little lip there, so that you'll be able to do it. It's not going to be as efficient as these, but a way to do that I saw someone online kind of mimic what they wanted from the loop tool is actually, all right, so there you have it. Now you have, if you cut a hole out, you'll actually be able to do the same thing with it. So you'll be able to scrape stuff out pretty well. And you'll be able, if you have different size spoons, you can get like really small, a lot smaller too, like that. But yep, that's gonna do the same thing. I would also sand it down if you have like it really choppy like how I have. But you probably won't use these as much unless you are carving things out. But you can also carve in other ways too, so you don't always need a carving tool. Lastly, is going to be ribs. Ribs are going to be super, super easy to kind of replicate and figure and like mimic. All you need is like, you can use just like a piece of wood, which I don't have. I don't have just a piece of wood, but you can just have like a piece of wood with you. You can also have an old card. Any card would work. Make a nice little rounded edge. You can even trace this and still like put it on your card and trace it, and then you can have like the right edge that you can cut. So anything would work. And these are flexible, same as like this is very flexible, and that's going to be able to be good to smooth your pieces out, and you'll be able to like bend it and different things like that. So credit cards, anything like that. Another thing is really good a substitute is just going to be an old CD. What you could do is you could just break it. You can break it and then it will have a nice little edge. Again, you want to sand it down before you use it because it will have sharp points. Have many ribs. These CDs are a little more flexible too, but they'll have a little more structure like the wooden one. So than like a credit card. Again, you can probably find a nice thicker credit card that will work, but yeah. I actually want to take a pause in this video and talk about local community ceramic studios. This whole series is for beginner ceramic artists to experience ceramics at a cheaper level. That way you don't have to go over the hurdle of how expensive ceramics is. However, if you do this, follow along with my series, and you realize you actually love it, I highly, highly recommend you looking into a local community ceramics center, because that's going to save you so much money in the long term. You're going to have a kiln. You're going to have access to a kiln on a regular basis where you can keep making and producing stuff and not have to worry about finding someone and also spending that extra cost. That's going to be included in your overall cost. Yes, it's going to be more money up front. However, it's going to be drastically cheaper if you're going to keep up with this hobby. You're going to have access to the kiln. You're going to have access to glazes. You're going to have access to knowledge, because everyone in the studio themselves has knowledge in their own way. Even if they just started just like you, they're going to have different extensive knowledge that they've tried out and they've worked on their pieces, what's going to work best for them and what's going to work best for that type of outcome that you're also looking for. So asking questions and having that artistic community to be able to have someone who just knows what you're working with and how you work with it. So I highly, highly recommend those. I can't stress this enough because they are very limited. They're not as common as you would think out in your area. They're probably as much as you can count on one hand out with like community centers that are affordable. Because of this, I want to stress to you to look into this if it's near you and actually go and sign up to be in one, because it's imperative for them to stay around and stick around, and any way you can support them is going to help out. We want to give access to ceramics to the people. We want to give them access to ceramics and have them properly do ceramics at affordable costs. So if you can find a center like that, please, please do, because it's going to help out tremendously for the community, for you as an artist, and just other people who are interested in trying ceramics. In order to help everyone out here, I actually developed a free document. So I'm sitting here editing my video and I don't know what the hell I'm thinking about. Whole document. It's just me that does everything, filming, editing, all this production stuff, so I don't got the time to make a full document, but what I will do is I'll put a Google form down in the comments, and please go ahead and fill that out with local studios that are affordable in your area. And then hopefully with everyone's submissions, I'll be able to have a document up, like a substantial list. But go ahead and do that. That would help everyone out here, whoever comes to watch my videos or follows me. Yeah. Thanks. I can't think enough of my own journey. Started in a local ceramic studio, so I wouldn't be where I am today without those affordable ceramic studios. Okay, let's get back to the video where we'll be doing some additional tools that we'll need for our next video. We'll be hand building with my friend Brendan. He's a great hand builder, so stay tuned for that next video. This is an extra tool. This is something that I use often. I got it when I didn't like how pointy the needle tool was, and it does the same job as well. But this is an old Japanese octopus skewer to flipping over the octopus balls, which is called takoyaki. that I got it from Daiso, and it was like really cheap. You see how much I used it before. It's got all this clay all over it. So that's going to be one tool that I'll probably use in the next video. Another one that I'll definitely use is a rice paddle. I use this to really like slap the clay, smack it good, to really make fine lines and smooth things out. So that's going to be very handy in the long term. And then lastly is just like a little dough roller that you can get. It's just you can get just a dowel, or just your old cooking roller that you no longer need, and you just roll out your clay for like slabs or anything like that. My friend has one where he puts these little like prongs on the end, and it can change the dimension of how thick it is, which I thought was really cool. But I just use this one because it's wood and it doesn't stick to the clay as much. This is a fork that's going to use to score your pieces for when you want to add pieces on to your piece, like stick them together. So I don't wear a lot of makeup, so I think I'm going to use this as well. Yeah. Our work. Now for this next video, I'll be introducing a wonderful, wonderful ceramic artist who is great at hand building. I mainly focus on the wheel, and that hand building is not something I particularly like, so I wanted to bring someone who is an expert and amazing at making little doodads, little goobers as he calls them. So stay tuned for that video. It's going to be fun and great, and you'll be able to make along with us in that video. Thank you, everyone. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, all those extra goodies. That's going to help me and my channel. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.